Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider drop likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So lots to negotiate on this current video today, but just going to give you a bit more additional information in regards to Bruno Fernandes. So we do know Bruno Fernandes' transfer saga to Manchester United does continue to persist, because we do know for the entirety of the summer he has of course been linked to move to Manchester United, so he has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation as Bruno Fernandes and all that. So potentially I do believe we are considered the favourites to sign Bruno Fernandes, and I think according to a ball of the Portuguese press we've been considered the favourites to sign Bruno Fernandes at least for the last 3 to 4 weeks. I do believe Sporting Lisbon's valuation does seem to be currently the stumbling block of Bruno Fernandes making his proposed move to Manchester United. But actually more additional information I think updated last week, saying that we are orchestrating on making our first formal offer for Bruno Fernandes. But now the Daily Mail of course have just basically reported saying that Manchester United are preparing to offer around £50 million for Bruno Fernandes. So this could be too insufficient for Sporting Lisbon, because like I said Sporting Lisbon do want around £70 million and all that. But I do believe it is very imperative of course that we do get this deal over the line, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer of course has identified him as one of his priority targets of course, and obviously we do need to add a couple of new additions in that midfield. And I do believe regardless of what happens with Paul Pogba, I think actually based on the substantial amount we've put on Paul Pogba, this could be the stumbling block of Paul Pogba making his proposed move away from Old Trafford. But I do believe Bruno Fernandes' move to Manchester United of course is not dependent on what happens with Paul Pogba, because I still think initially Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is orchestrating on bringing a couple of new additions in that current midfield. But I do believe anyway it's very likely anyway that Bruno Fernandes is going to be leaving Sporting Lisbon, so maybe for £50 million of course isn't currently going to be enough. Obviously the boss of Sporting Lisbon has indicated now that it is probable that Bruno Fernandes is going to be leaving Sporting Lisbon, and he has indicated out, the boss of Sporting Lisbon, that his transfer to Manchester United of course is very close. I do believe it did report out, was it last week, saying that Bruno Fernandes' agent had been in the UK to obviously hold more extensive talks with Manchester United. I also do believe he's held talks with Tottenham, because obviously, and Liverpool, because obviously Tottenham and Liverpool have expressed their interest. So basically Bruno Fernandes' agent is looking for the best possible deal for his client. If Bruno Fernandes does make his move to Manchester United, I think we're set to give him around 100 grand a week. So reportedly we're set to pay him around 5.5 million a year, which obviously equates to around £100,000 a week. Obviously Sporting Lisbon are in the market now for a replacement for Bruno Fernandes. But I think it didn't, let's just say, a lot of reports said last week that saying that the Solskjaer is not getting back for this particular signing, because actually Ed Woodward had said no to Bruno Fernandes last week, and it initially said the board believed believed that he's too expensive and all that. So this is what the basic board had said, and I think the board have got concerned about as what spending £70 million on a player who knows little about Champions League football, and of course someone who's got a little experience to the highest level and all that. But I do believe Solskjaer does currently want to get a deal concluded, so hopefully we can get the deal concluded for Bruno Fernandes sometime this week. But I did say the valuation has seemed to be the stumbling block for quite some time and all that. But Bruno Fernandes has notified his representatives that I think his actual preference is a move to Manchester United. And I do believe he's before had negotiation with his representative discussing a potential move and that to Old Trafford. But like I said, we've got to get some new additions of course in that midfield. Bruno Fernandes' initial release clause is around £88 million in his contract with Sporting Lisbon, but obviously Manchester United are not determined to go anywhere near that figure. Obviously he only signed a 5-year deal with Sporting Lisbon last summer, so he is under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. But I do believe Bruno Fernandes would be the right type of player for Manchester United. I do believe he's got all the attributes definitely come and succeed in the Premier League. I do believe he'll exceed expectation levels in the Premier League, because if he comes to Manchester United, I do believe he'll elevate Manchester United forward. He'll rejuvenate the team, he'll win us them goals of course that we need in that midfield. His work ethic, and that's really good. And of course he's only 24 years of age, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit young players to Manchester United of course this summer and all that. But yeah, we are partly planning to put around the £50 million bidding for him. But yeah, obviously Bruno Fernandes spent the majority of his career in Italy when he was younger. Would like of Sampdoria and underneath. I think he also played for Navia, but Bruno Fernandes still got a hell of a lot of years ahead of him. But him coming to the Premier League, obviously, it's going to rejuvenate his career, and of course, it'll take his footballing career to the next level. But I do believe Bruno Fernandes, I think, is primarily an attacking midfielder. But regardless of what happens with Paul Pogba, we still want to recommend Bruno Fernandes to come to Manchester United. But like I said, the valuation is seen to be the stumbling block. But we do know Tottenham have been interested in him. Like I said, Liverpool have been interested in him. But Sporting Lisbon are playing hardball, and I don't think Sporting Lisbon have been quite reliable this summer. They actually assured around, was it 8 or 9 weeks ago, that he was going to be going to Manchester City. Obviously, he's moved to Manchester City and never materialised, because obviously initially Manchester City had withdrawn their interest. But we've been in talks for quite some time, with Sporting Lisbon over getting a deal concluded. But it didn't, as you say, about 3 weeks ago that the personal terms had been agreed with Bruno Fernandes, the contract and that had been agreed. But obviously no fee is yet come to an agreement. But we have not yet made any formal offering for him. But we are preparing, of course, to put around a £50 million bidding for Bruno Fernandes. Recent reports have said that PSG, of course, have been in for him, but I think it's very unlikely that he will end up making the move to PSG. But I actually do believe probably our next two signings are now going to be Harry Maguire from Leicester and Bruno Fernandes, of course, from Sporting Lisbon. So if we can get them deals wrapped up, that's a really good business for Manchester United. Obviously, so far this summer, we have spent around £65 million obviously on two players, Daniel James and Dan Wan-Bissaka, but obviously spent £65 million on. If you want to include the add-ons, it does rise up to around £68 million. But obviously, Daniel James and Dan Wan-Bissaka, we've seen glimpses of what good signings they've proven to be for Manchester United, so far, because they have done really well in pre-season. And obviously, Daniel James and Dan Wan-Bissaka, both very young. They're both 21 years of age, and they've both got a lot of years ahead of them. But I do believe both players have got all the ingredients required, to become huge successes at Manchester United and all that. With Daniel James, I still say as a prospect, and obviously Daniel James still needs time to develop. But I think he started pre-season well. He primarily plays on the left, but we actually started him on the right against Inter Milan. Daniel James, and with Wan-Bissaka, of course, he's been absolutely fantastic. And with Wan-Bissaka, who only initially made his debut in February of 2018 last year, it was last February. He did really well at Palace, and he's done really well now at Manchester United. So far he's replicating what he did at Crystal Palace last season. Now he's at Manchester United and all that, Bissaka. But like I said, our Wan-Bissaka's got all the ingredients required to become a huge success at Manchester United, and I do believe he can be our fullback for the next decade. But we need more than Wan-Bissaka and all that. We need to build on that. And, we've got to get an experienced centre half in. We need a couple of new additions in that midfield. We also need a right winger. But I do believe the club also need to sell players, to probably help us generate funds and of course rebuild the squad. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer himself is aware of the speculation and all that, because he said there's been a lot of speculation about players coming in and of course players going. And he also did basically say, there's been a lot of speculation about players coming in and of course players going out. But he did basically say, we don't really need to sell players. I'm very adamant, of course, that we do need to sell players. But Solskjaer has spoken to the vast majority of our players this summer. But like I did say, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was recently speaking about our recruitment policy. But like I said, we've got to get the right players to Manchester United this summer. I do believe we'll have a better season, in the Premier League. Going on into this season, I think we'll have a better season than we did last season, because obviously last season we finished 6th. We didn't win any silver, and we haven't won any silver in the past couple of seasons. So we need to see vast improvements, of course, going on into this season. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was recently speaking about the club's ambitions for next season. He believes that we'll be aiming for a further player than 4th, going on into this season. I do believe our expectations, well, at least we know will be to probably finish in the top 4, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got to exceed these expectation levels. But I do believe next season, I don't think we'll win the league. I think we'll probably maybe finish 4th, or we may finish 3rd. But I do believe going on to this season we'll have a better season, of course, than what we currently saw last season and all that. But there's only just under 3 weeks remaining now in this transfer window, so obviously we've got to speed up and all that in this transfer window. We've got to be more competitive, because analysing it, at least in the last couple of windows, we haven't been competitive enough. We didn't get anyone in January. Obviously, we didn't get our number 1 targets last summer. So like I did say, we've got to be competitive, more competitive in this window. So Solskjaer did say initially, he's looking to get 1 or 2 more players in, before this current window, does currently shut. But like I said, we have got to get the right players to Manchester United. Obviously, we failed to qualify for the Champions League, so we're competing in the Europa League for this season. And it's going to be hard for us to attract players to the elite level. Obviously, it is hard when you're not in Champions League football. It's always going to be hard for us, to convince our imperative players and that to stay the football club. But like I said, still lots need to be addressed in the current squad. But like I said, I do believe Manchester United, of course, do need to currently sell players to help us generate funds. And of course rebuild the squad and all that, and that's very essential. But yeah, I think Bruno Fernandes, to Manchester United is probably, still, currently going to happen and all that. But, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival, we've obviously, seen 3 players leave the club. Obviously, Valencia left Manchester United after serving 10 years with us. Obviously, he was a long-serving player with the club. Obviously, Ander Herrera, of course, left on a free transfer. Fellaini, of course, left back in the January transfer window. So, obviously, we've got to add reinforcements in that midfield. And like I said, guys, potentially, do currently need a right winger. I initially said probably top 4 will be our expectations going on into this season. I did actually initially say that our aspirations will be top 4 over the next couple of seasons, because analysing it at the moment, City has strides ahead of us, obviously Liverpool and our strides ahead of us. It's very imperative that we catch up over like Manchester City and Liverpool. I did say, analysing our current squad at the moment, at this present time as it stands, I did say it's not good enough, it's not competitive enough and all that. I did say regardless of who our manager is, even if we had a manager to the highest level, they would still struggle with this current Manchester United squad at the moment. But if Harry Maguire comes in, if Bruno Fernandes comes in, that's going to dramatically improve the squad a lot. But as I've been updating you on a regular basis in regards to Harry Maguire, obviously it's looking very imminent. He's going to be our 3rd signing this summer, which is very, very good news and all that. Obviously reports were reflecting out from Bleacher Report yesterday. It came out saying that Manchester United have agreed a deal with Leicester for Harry Maguire, and I think the fee is around £80 million. So obviously that's a world record fee for the current defender, because obviously we do know that Leicester have been demanding in the access around £80 million and all that. And now it's suggested out now that Harry Maguire's transfer from Leicester to Manchester United is very, very imminent. But we are set to sign Harry Maguire, of course, after a breakthrough in negotiations when that with Leicester. So reportedly Manchester United will pay around £70 million up front, it did say, and I think there is actually £10 million in add-ons included, so that does potentially rise it to around £80 million. So if we do get this deal over the line, it's going to take our spending so far this summer to around £148 million and all that. I think it's around £148 million. It's currently going to take it. So if you want to include the add-ons, but I think Harry Maguire, will dramatically improve us defensively. I think also Harry Maguire has demanded, to become captain of Manchester United, of course, if his move currently materialise. And I think Harry Maguire, would be a great leader in our back line. He would show great leadership and all that. And I do believe, he will blend in alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line fantastically well. But I do believe now anyway, we've been in pole position to sign, Harry Maguire at least for last week or something like that. Obviously, reflecting back a couple of weeks ago, it was looking like the Manchester City were going to get Harry Maguire. Obviously, his initial first choice preference was Manchester City ahead of Manchester United, and obviously City have been seeing him as replacement for Vincent Kompany. He said City and that were orchestrating on paying him around 280 grand a week. He also said Manchester City, we're going to get him for the world record fee of £80 million. But then he initially said that City, of course, had withdrawn their current interest in Harry Maguire, because obviously City are not willing to pay what Leicester are demanding. Initially, I think for the majority of this story, I think the actual valuation is seen to be the stumbling block of Harry Maguire, making his proposed move to Manchester United or Manchester City, because for quite some time, Manchester United, were not willing to pay, of course, what Leicester were demanding. Obviously, the other week, a couple of weeks ago now, was it, we had the £70 million bid turned down for Harry Maguire, because at one point, we was only willing to pay around £70 million for his services, or £75 million for his services. But like I said, talks have been going on for quite some time between Manchester United and Leicester. Obviously, Manchester City themselves have held their talks with Leicester, but it's looking very, very likely that Harry Maguire, is going to be coming in. And I do believe, it should actually be currently announced today. If it isn't announced today, it should be announced sometime this week and all that. But the stories came out about this the other week, and it was actually stemming from Duncan Castles. It actually proven to be a load of nonsense. He said the other week that Manchester United had agreed a world record fee of £80 million for Harry Maguire. He initially said we'd pay £60 million up front, with £20 million in add-ons. And he did initially say, he's set to undergo his medical the other week and all that. But obviously, I think that was last Monday, should I say. And that obviously, got proven to be a load of nonsense, because I think Manchester United, we'd actually distanced ourselves away from that story that had been basically put out from Duncan Castles. But it came out from Bleacher Report yesterday. It said we've agreed a world record fee of £80 million and all that. Obviously, this figure is going to make him the most expensive defender ever in world football, because obviously the most expensive defender in world football at the moment is obviously Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk, who, of course, Liverpool paid £70 £75 million for. Obviously, he's the most expensive defender in the world, like I say, and you can't put Harry Maguire in, you know, Virgil van Dijk's calibre or level, because like I said with Virgil van Dijk, he is regarded as one of the best, well, he is the best centre-half in the world, without a shadow of a doubt. But I do believe Harry Maguire, you know, still will deliver the goods to Manchester United. I do believe that Harry Maguire, you know, told Leicester last week, so he informed Brendan Rodgers, he also informed his Leicester teammates, of course, that he does want to leave Leicester and obviously, you know, got to obviously rejuvenate his career and of course take his footballing career to the next level. I think, you know, Brendan Rodgers, of course, is aware of the speculation. You know, it said quite recently, as he updated you on, you know, he actually, you know, imposed a deadline on any potential bids for Harry Maguire, and basically what he was saying is he's aware of Manchester United and Manchester City's interest, but he did say, you know, quite recently that, you know, I think his overarching view on it was obviously, you know, if Manchester United and Manchester City want to get him, they have to hurry up about the business and all that. But anyway, now it's looking like, you know, Manchester United, of course, are going to get Harry Maguire on the board, so I do believe should be announced sometime today. But like I said, Premier League proven Harry Maguire, and I like analysing it, you know, we haven't had a world-class central defender, you know, since we had the likes of Vidic, and, you know, since we had the likes of Fernandes and all that. So I think we've had issues defensively, you know, for quite some time, and last season we conceded 54 goals in 38 Premier League games. But Harry Maguire will blend in alongside Victor Lindelof in our backline fantastically well. We initially said we're not intending on overspending on our current transfer targets, but I just want us, you know, to currently get this deal concluded, because obviously now our top priority is to recommend the central defender, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's #1 target is Harry Maguire. Then obviously we're going to focus on, you know, bringing a midfielder or two in. So looking very imminent now anyway that Harry Maguire, of course, is going to be coming in. But like I said, 26 years of age, plus he's British, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talents to Manchester United this summer. Still got a lot of years ahead of him. He's been at Leicester a couple of seasons. You know, he's made 76 appearances in all competitions for Leicester. Obviously 69 of those appearances have come in the Premier League, and he only signed a new long-term contract with Leicester last summer, so I think it was a 5-year deal he signed, so he's under contract with them until 2023. You know, Leicester paid around £17 million for his services from Hull City, you know, back in 2017 and all that. So, you know, Leicester, looking at it from a financial point of view, you know, going to make a huge profit on the player, because they only, like I said, they only paid £17 million for his services from Hull. Obviously he's played under Mike Phelan's guidance as Harry Maguire, you know, don't forget, because obviously, you know, Mike Phelan had a short tenure with Hull, but obviously, you know, he still managed Harry Maguire, and I do believe Mike Phelan has instructed Manchester United to get a deal over the line for the player. But he's been relentlessly into a move to Manchester United. I think we also was tracking him, you know, when he was a youngster at Sheffield United, you know, Harry Maguire. And all that, so I do believe, you know, we're currently in for him there, because obviously Harry Maguire, you know, began his career with Sheffield United. But like I said, distribution's really, really good. You know, shows that ability to play out from the back. Not very fast, but I don't think, you know, that's currently an issue. So yeah, I think it will be a great sign there for Manchester United, and hopefully I hope he fits in the team well and all that. And I think I presume, you know, he will blend in alongside Victor Lindelof in our backline fantastically well. But Harry Maguire has been heavily into a move to Manchester United for the last month, but we was also in for him last summer, because our priority last summer under the Jose Mourinho was to recommend a central defender in, and one of the central defenders, you know, Jose Mourinho wanted last summer, of course, you know, was Harry Maguire and all. And obviously looking at it as well, Harry Maguire's going to be on much more money at Old Trafford than he's currently receiving at Leicester at the moment. I'm not too sure what he's on at Leicester at the moment. I haven't really looked at the salary he's on. Is it around £70,000 a week or something like that? But yeah, according to recent reports anyway, you know, it's looking very, very likely, of course, that he's, you know, currently going to be coming in. You know, I'm hearing some people talking about Toby Alderweireld, and there's some people, well, is it Dean Saunders, something like that, former Liverpool man? Is he actually, you know, instructed Manchester United, you know, to forget about the move for Harry Maguire and actually, you know, go in for Toby Alderweireld instead? Because we do know that Toby Alderweireld is a much cheaper solution than Harry Maguire. I don't think he's potentially as good as Harry Maguire, in my own opinion, but Toby Alderweireld's still got that experience of playing in the Premier League. Obviously, he's been in the Premier League game about 4 years. We do know Toby Alderweireld is available for around £25 million this summer, because obviously, you know, that's his initial release clause and all that. But like I said, you do know I've got strong concerns about Alderweireld. Obviously, how old is he? 31 years of age, so of course he's aging up and all that. But he is available for a reasonable figure, and quite a few people said, look, you know, we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer. You know, quite a few people have basically said it, and we was also in for Alderweireld last summer, you know, don't forget. But yeah, I don't just don't think it's an issue in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans, to recommending her to come in. But it's very, very probable that he's actually going to be leaving Tottenham because he's refused to sign a new contract. Obviously, I think Tottenham had triggered this extension, was it, back in January and all that, and included this 25 million release clause. And yeah, but he has been linked to move to Manchester United as either way around. But there's been a lot of central defenders on our agenda. But like I said, the Light's out of the equation because obviously he's gone to Juventus. So obviously he was one of our priority targets, no longer because he's gone to Juventus. Obviously, Rafael Varane was in for him at one point, but obviously he's staying at Real Madrid. Obviously, Koulibaly, obviously he's going to cost us quite a lot more, than Harry Maguire and all that. And obviously, I think the only way we'd have a chance of getting a Koulibaly, is if we was willing to pay silly amounts of money. And I think there was contradictions to the stories about Koulibaly, but yeah, so I think he's going to be staying at Napoli. Yeah, so there's been a lot of central defenders, of course, on our agenda, but looking very, very likely, of course, that Harry Maguire is going to be coming in. Some people said, we need 2 central defenders and all that. I think Eric Bailly is very imperative for Manchester United, so I think the club will orchestrate on, keeping him, even though his career has been affected with Manchester United, the amount of injuries sustained. Obviously, his fallout under managers, that's had a bad effect on his Manchester United career. With Lindelof, obviously there's been, it's allegedly been saying that he's been linked to move to Barcelona as Victor Lindelof, but I do believe that Victor Lindelof dismissed their speculations, linking him with move to Barcelona, because Victor Lindelof's a very imperative player. He's flourishing at Manchester United, and I think there was vast improvements in his second season at the club. His distribution was good. He was showing that ability, that he can play out from the back, and that Victor Lindelof. In his first season didn't really settle in, struggled with consistency, but I thought in his second season Victor Lindelof, was absolutely fantastic. But if Harry Maguire does come in, I think we will actually orchestrate on selling the central defender, because obviously analysing it, we've got quite a few central defenders. I think we've got around 5 or 6. We've got Lindelof, we've got Bailly, we've got Smalling, we've got Jones, we've got Alex Tuanzebe, we've got Rojo. So I think it's around 5 or 6. We've currently got. But one of those central defenders I don't think we'll offload is Victor Lindelof. So we could offload maybe Rojo. We could offload Smalling, we could offload Jones, we could offload Alex Tuanzebe and all that. And I think initially, we need to get rid of Marcus Rojo anyway, because I think his Manchester United career has been mainly affected, with the amount of injuries, of course, and he's sustained. It's had a really, really bad effect on him. It's taken its toll on Marcus Rojo. And either way, really, anyway, he isn't first choice. He hasn't really been given a chance. And similar sort of thing, with Darmian. I think we also need to sell him because, he's enjoyed a difficult time at Manchester United. He hasn't really been given the chance. Darmian obviously had a lot of experience of playing in Italy, of course, when he was young. Obviously, we initially got him from Torino for around, £12.5 million, if I'm right. Well, it was around £12 million we did get him for. Obviously, he's been here since Louis van Gaal. He's had quite a few injuries as well as Darmian. But if we sell Darmian and Rojo, we can generate around between 25 or £30 million for their departures and all that. But yeah, and obviously Leicester themselves are going to want a replacement for Harry Maguire. I think it initially said the other week that Leicester had agreed around the £45 million deal for Lewis Dunk from Brighton and all that as their replacement for Harry Maguire. But analyse it, Leicester don't want to sell him. Well, they don't want to sell him because they're now imperative, and they don't want to sell him. This is the main factor reason why they're demanding an extortionate amount. This is why they have priced him out of the transfer market. But it's looking like the Manchester United, of course, are going to get a deal over the line for him. But like I said, we do know that obviously Paul Pogba and obviously Romelu Lukaku have both players have obviously been both relentlessly linked to move away from the football club and all that. But I do believe based on the extortionate amount that we have put on Paul Pogba and Lukaku, this could be a stumbling block of both players making their proposed moves away from Manchester United. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does know how imperative Lukaku and Paul Pogba are. Obviously they are our two most expensive signings and all that. But I think possibly now both players could remain the football club. As I've been updating you on a regular basis with regards to Gareth Bale and all that. Obviously now I was reading reports about Gareth Bale yesterday, and it did initially say that reportedly Zinedine Zidane come out and said Gareth Bale is close to leaving Real Madrid. Obviously this got confirmed at the end of last season. Zinedine Zidane himself had confirmed that he wants to sell Gareth Bale. I think also Florentino Perez wants to flog off Gareth Bale and all that. So he confirmed towards the back end of last season that Zinedine Zidane declared that Gareth Bale's got no future at Real Madrid. He also said that he no longer fits his plans with Real Madrid, even though Gareth Bale's agent has come out and basically said that Gareth Bale has got no intentions of leaving Real Madrid. But we do know Bale's been subject to a lot of transfer speculation, and I do believe he's been relentlessly linked to a move to Manchester United since 2012, 2013. So we've been linked to him for several years now, Gareth Bale, but obviously his move to Manchester United, of course, has never materialised. I think there's also been talks about him making a possible return to Tottenham and all that. But I do believe, Manchester United are not interested, of course, in signing Gareth Bale. I do believe Gareth Bale, missed Real Madrid's pre-season game against Bayern Munich. Obviously, Bayern Munich, of course, did win that by 3 goals to 1. But I don't want Gareth Bale at Manchester United anyway, because I think he's too inconsistent now. Plus, he's aging up. I think he's just recently turned 30 years of age. He has been inconsistent in his last couple of seasons with Real Madrid. He has still got 3 years left on his contract with Real Madrid. And if you'd asked me a couple of years ago, I probably would have took Bale at Manchester United and all that. If you'd asked me a couple of years ago, and you do have got strong concerns about him, because I think he's too inconsistent now. Plus, he's injury prone, and he's had a bad effect on his Real Madrid career and all that. But despite the fact that he's injury prone, I still believe his ratio is very, very good. And he scored a lot of goals as Gareth Bale. He scored 102 goals in 231 games for Real Madrid, and he has provided around 65 assists. So you can say that's very impressive. Despite the fact, of course, that he's currently injury prone. Obviously, Real Madrid themselves are desperate to include Gareth Bale in their bid, of course, to sign Paul Pogba, because Real Madrid are not keen on a straight cash payment for Paul Pogba. I do believe Real Madrid are trying to offload quite a few of their players anyway to help them generate funds. To me, 150 or 160 million pound valuation for Paul Pogba, because Real Madrid have spent quite a lot of money this summer. They spent around 300 million pounds, of course, on 5 players. Obviously, Real Madrid lost Ronaldo last summer, so obviously they went in for the replacement for him. Obviously, Real Madrid have got Eden Hazard, and I think they must have spent around 150 million pounds, of course, on Eden Hazard. But yeah, Real Madrid have confirmed that they do currently want to get rid of Gareth Bale, but I think they'd find it hard to get offload him permanently, based on his substantial wages. And obviously Real Madrid would find it very difficult to recoup the initial £85 million that they did pay for him from Tottenham, 6 years ago. But yeah, he's been at Real Madrid 6 years, and he's won several honours as Gareth Bale, he's including 4 Champions Leagues and a La Liga and all that. But like I said, there's a possible chance, Gareth Bale, could be making a return to the Premier League. But I just don't think Manchester United, of course, are interested in signing. Maybe some Manchester United fans have got different opinions to me, and maybe some say, Bale, would do well at Manchester United, he would succeed and all that. I think if Real Madrid, many teams won't be able to afford him, but if Real Madrid did offload him permanently, I think maybe they could still get around 55 or 60 million pounds. But I don't think they did recoup the initial 85 million pounds that they did pay for him from Tottenham. But he did have 6 good years at Tottenham, when he was younger and all that. He succeeded, he exceeded expectation levels, and if he did come back to the Premier League, probably Gareth Bale would currently succeed. And Bale can play on the left, also Bale can play on the right, and obviously Manchester United are in search for a win. I think even Bale was a left back, when he was younger. I think he was actually operating as a left back, at Southampton, where initially began his career. But I think there's better solutions out there than Gareth Bale, and so that's the latest news about Bale, as you all know. Obviously, as you all know, about Nicolas Pepe from Lille, as I have been updating you about him on a regular basis. Now, we do know he's been subject to a lot of transfer speculation as Nicolas Pepe, and he has been widely spoken about for quite some time now, because I think it's looking very, very likely that Nicolas Pepe is going to be leaving Lille. Obviously, the Lille chairman had confirmed this was a couple of months ago, that he was going to be leaving Lille. Still remains uncertain, where he will be playing his trade this season and all that, Nicolas Pepe. But so many teams have currently been in there for him. But according to recent reports, I think we are in pole position now to sign Nicolas Pepe. I do believe actually from Nicolas Pepe's preference, I think Nicolas Pepe's preference is actually now a move to Liverpool and all that. So it doesn't. Liverpool have been linked to him for the last couple of months, but Liverpool I think have not made any formal offer yet for Nicolas Pepe. But I do believe they've contacted his current representatives and all that. Obviously, Everton have been in for him, but I don't think he'll go to Everton, because obviously Everton can't offer him any European football. So I don't think he'll go to Everton. And obviously, Arsenal have been in for him, of course, since January, and I do believe Arsenal still in for him now. Arsenal probably find it hard, to meet that £70 million valuation, because obviously Arsenal they've got a tight budget. They've only got around 40 or £45 million to spend. So obviously Arsenal would have to offload a couple of their players to help them generate funds, to meet that £70 million valuation. But obviously it's actually saying now we're in pole position anyway to sign Nicolas Pepe. Reportedly we're orchestrating on putting around the £70 million bidding for him. Reportedly it does say Man United is still talks are still ongoing, between Manchester United and Lille, and reportedly it's saying talks are progressing, with Lille over the transfer of Nicolas Pepe and all that. But looking at he's the obvious candidate for the right winner is Nicolas Pepe, because obviously he's primarily a winner, and I would be excited about this prospect of linking Nicolas Pepe up with the likes of Rashford, Martial and Mason Greenwood and all that. And Nicolas Pepe is only 24 years of age, so he's still very, very young, but he can score goals, he can create chances, he can also provide assists. I think his tenacity, and that's really, really good. So I think it would be a fantastic signing for Manchester United. I think he'd do well in any team, Nicolas Pepe, and I do believe he's got all the attributes, to definitely come and succeed in the Premier League, Nicolas Pepe. And him coming to the Premier League, would be the next step for him, and of course, would take his footballing career to the next level. I do believe he'd fit in Liverpool. I think he'd fit Liverpool's system perfectly. Even though Liverpool don't really need any signings, in my opinion, because they've invested well in the last couple of seasons and all that. But obviously, Liverpool are still looking to get a couple of players in, and I think he'd blend in alongside the likes of Sadio Mane fantastically well in Liverpool's attacking line. With Nicolas, Pepe, and all that. Probably blend in Arsenal's team, really, really well, because he's just a really good player, and so far he's spent the entirety of his career in France. Obviously, he served a couple of years there with Lille. Obviously, he has served a couple of years with Lille and all that, and I think he was the revelation for Lille last season, scoring 22 goals, providing 11 assists. Has still got 3 years left on his contract with Lille, and obviously, in total, I think in all competitions he scored around 37 goals in 79 appearances as Nicolas Pepe. I do believe it reported out the other week saying that Inter Milan were in for him. Previously, Bayern Munich and that have been in for him, because Munich want to replace him for Arjen Robben and Frank Ribery. I do believe PSG, of course, have been in there for him. So many teams have inquired about his current services, but I would be excited if he did actually make the move to Manchester United. But reportedly, we are progressing in negotiations. But again, this story is actually stemming from Duncan Castles, because I think it was coming from Duncan Castles, who was actually writing in the Sunday Times, and he indicated out over the course of the weekend that Manchester United have moved ahead of Liverpool and Arsenal in the race to sign Nicolas Pepe, because Duncan Castles is not always reliable, as that got proven the other week when he initially said Manchester United agreed a world record fee of £80 million for Harry Maguire. Obviously, that didn't get proven out to be true, and that was actually stemming from Duncan Castles and all that. So Duncan Castles, of course, is not always currently reliable and all that. But this is actually stemming from Duncan Castles and all that. But yeah, I'd love Nicolas Pepe to definitely come to Manchester United and all that. But like I said, there has been quite a few current winners on our agenda. Obviously, Jadon Sancho at one point, obviously, was one of our main priority targets. Obviously, we do know now Jadon Sancho, of course, isn't coming in. I said we've obviously missed out on him this summer, because obviously we failed to qualify for the Champions League. But I think maybe in January, maybe next summer, we'll probably maybe go in for Jadon Sancho. Because definitely Jadon Sancho, will not be intending on spending the rest of his career with Dortmund. He'll remain loyal to Borussia Dortmund for this season, but I think in the future, he'll want to obviously move on and all that, with Jadon Sancho. But like I've been updating you on a regular basis, with in regards, to Romelu Lukaku and all that. Obviously, it got reported out a couple of days ago. Obviously, Inter Milan had a £54 million bid, rejected for Romelu Lukaku. Well, they put a £54 million bid in for him. Obviously, Manchester United have currently turned this £54 million bid down, because obviously, we do know that £54 million is too insufficient, because obviously, we're looking for somewhere in the region of near £90 million or something like that. So basically, we're looking to recoup the money that we did pay for Lukaku. We're looking to recoup the money that we did pay for him from Everton a couple of years ago and all that. And I do believe, we overpaid for Lukaku. We paid £75 million for him, but obviously there were several add-ons, including the deal of $15 million, which is potentially raising it to £90 million. So we're looking to recoup the money that we did pay for him. I think we're also maybe orchestrating on, gaining a little bit of a profit. But I do believe our valuation, seems to be the stumbling block of Lukaku, making his proposed move to Inter Milan. But we do know for the entirety of the summer, or the majority of the summer, Lukaku has been speaking about his proposed move to Inter Milan. And obviously, for the majority of the summer, talks have been ongoing, between Inter Milan and Manchester United. Of course, obviously, Inter Milan have tried to offload a couple of their players, to help them generate funds, to meet that £75 or £80 million valuation. But of course, Inter Milan have currently failed. So they've just recently had a £54 million bid turned down. Obviously, Antonio Conte has identified Romelu Lukaku as his number one target, because he did say how essential it is that imperative get a deal over the line for him and all that. Obviously, I think maybe Lukaku to Inter Milan, it hinges on Icardi. It depends on what happens there with Icardi and all that, because I think Icardi is actually being linked with move to Juventus and all that. But yeah, so Antonio Conte has identified him as his number one target. Obviously, reflecting back a couple of years ago when Antonio Conte was the manager of Chelsea. At that point, of course, he wanted Romelu Lukaku, but obviously ended up making the move to Manchester United and all that. This is what basically said. And obviously, I think reports actually indicated out last month, or was it a couple of months ago now, saying that Lukaku had allegedly agreed the personal terms for Inter Milan. It also said he had agreed a contract worth around £180,000 a week, but no fee, of course, has yet come to an agreement. And I think Lukaku's keen on playing playing under Antonio Conte's guidance, because he described him as one of the best managers in the world, and maybe Lukaku believes he'll flourish under Antonio Conte's guidance and all that. But Lukaku's made it clear anyway, he wants to leave Manchester United. This got confirmed the other week. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer reportedly held talks with Romelu Lukaku, and he did basically say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanting to remain at the club for one more season. But we do know, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended in, we do know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice preference has been Marcus Rashford ahead of Romelu Lukaku. So obviously Lukaku is served his 2 requirements, and obviously Lukaku of course feels unhappy about this. So potentially I think this is one of the main reasons why of course he does want to leave the football club. And I didn't, as you say, I said if we do sell Lukaku, I think it will be beneficial for Manchester United. It will be also beneficial for the club as well if we do quickly sell Romelu Lukaku. And initially, I think Inter Milan, inquired about getting Lukaku on a 2-year loan. So reportedly, Inter Milan had, offered a 2-year loan with around £9 million up front. With then the obligation to buy for the further £54 million at the end of the loan. But obviously, Manchester United didn't entertain this offer because we're only willing to let him go on a permanent deal. I was reading reports last week, and it was stemming from Sky Sports last week, and they said that Inter Milan were orchestrating on putting a new bid in for Lukaku, and it reportedly says they were willing to meet that 75 or 80 million pound valuation, but obviously Inter Milan want payments to be structured, so reportedly they was willing to spend a guaranteed £60 million over the course of the next 3 years. So reportedly they'd pay £40 million of this up front, with the other £20 million to be paid in instalments, and then it says there would £15 million add-ons included, dependent on how Lukaku performs at the San Siro. But I think we're only willing to let him go and a straight cash payment and let him go permanently. So I don't think we'll take instalments of what Inter Milan try to do and that, because like I said, they want payments to be currently structured. But Lukaku's agent Federico Pastorelli has held quite a few talks with Inter Milan, and he's basically indicated out Inter Milan are desperate to sign him. But I think our valuation, of course, does seem to be the current stumbling block and all that. But Lukaku's still got 3 years left on his contract with Manchester United. Don't forget, he's scored 42 goals in 96 games for the club in all competitions. Obviously, he's been at Manchester United 2 years. He was exceptional in his first season with Manchester United, but didn't really replicate this form, of course, in his second season. So, so I think we basically need to get rid of him. And I do believe if Lukaku leaves the club obviously, we are going to need a current replacement for him. But like I said, Lukaku has not played yet on tour. He has not played on tour yet. I do believe maybe he will get given his chance. Lukaku, of course, if he's still at the football club. But obviously he didn't play against Inter Milan. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say prior to the game, he wouldn't have been playing because obviously, he wasn't currently fit enough and all that. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer saying that, adds more speculation in regards to Romelu Lukaku's long-term future and all that. But yeah, he's not yet played in pre-season, of course. And I think we have got him at a bit more pace now up front now, and that's something we was lacking last season. We didn't have a lot of pace last season. We was lacking that last season. We've got the likes of Daniel James now, who's got pace, electrifying pace, should I say. Rashford's got pace, Martial's got pace. You've got Mason Greenwood. He's getting promoted into the first team this season. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has confirmed that, by the way. That's Mason Greenwood, of course, is going to get promoted into the first team. And only 17 years of age, Mason Greenwood. Started pre-season well. Two goals in his last 2 games. Last season for the Manchester United reserve team, scored 30. I think he scored around 30 goals in 29 appearances. But I do believe he's going to develop really, really well. Is Mason Greenwood, from where I'm going to be quite honest with, and I think he's going to succeed at Manchester United. I really, really do. But looking at it, still Mason Greenwood and the likes of Chong at the moment are still inexperienced, and we've got Rashford and Martial. Obviously, they've got fantastic pace, both very, very young. They've both started pre-season well, to be fair. But I still don't think Rashford and Martial have not yet got to that level where they do want to be and all that. So I do believe we need a replacement for Lukaku. But there's been quite a few players named mentioned. Obviously there was a lot of talks about Aubameyang going on there was a lot of talks about Aubameyang going on last week. Obviously some people said Dybala would be a good replacement for Lukaku. Some people said Icardi would be a good replacement for Lukaku. Some people said Wissam Ben Yedder from Sevilla would be a good replacement for Lukaku. But like I said, we're definitely going to need a replacement, of course, if he does currently leave the football club and all that. But yeah, there has been so many current players on our current agenda. But with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I hope he succeeds at Manchester United, and I hope he can get Manchester United, of course, back to glory. And like I said, There's been growing frustration around Manchester United, obviously, in terms of our transfer business and all that, and obviously if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't get all the players he currently wants, obviously, you can say the board have definitely let him down, because the board have guaranteed, that they're going to back him throughout the course of the summer, and so if we get this deal over the line for Harry Maguire and we do get Bruno Fernandes, that's really, really good, and I think that's definitely, good business for Manchester United, because obviously if we get Harry Maguire, we've addressed our defensive deficiencies. If we get Bruno Fernandes, we've added a player in that midfield, that can score goals and all that, and that can currently create chances. And but with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I do believe anyway he's following a policy that proved successful under Alex Ferguson and all that. So he's following a policy that proved successful under Alex Ferguson. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer believes Alex Ferguson, of course, transformed him to a winner, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is following Alex Ferguson's philosophy. And like I said, we've been a toxic club for the last 5 or 6 years, but obviously we've been a toxic club because obviously we've been mismanaged, and this is the main factor reason why we've been underachieving, and we've had different managers, with different philosophies. A hell of a lot of money has been spent at the club over the years, since Alex Ferguson retired, and we've sacked 3 managers, of course, since Alex Ferguson currently retired, like I said. But regardless of who our manager is, we've got to accept the fact, no one's going to ever follow Alex Ferguson's, legacy. We're never going to achieve what we achieved under Alex Ferguson, for 20 odd years and success, that we did currently but we just want to be back, to being a competitive elite level football club. As you all know, we've got Chelsea on the first game of the season. That's obviously going to be a difficult game. Then I do believe we do go to Wolves on the second game of the season. Like I did say, hopefully, it does work out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But Solskjaer's got a bit of experience as a manager. He did really, really well in his first 3 months as interim manager at Manchester United. He exceeded expectation levels. The results were good, the performances were good, and we even won our first 8 games. We won 14 games out of 19, whilst Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. And then obviously, he got the job permanently. I think on the 28th of March was it, and all that. And then obviously, we only won 2 games out of 10. So obviously, all went wrong when he got the job permanently. But like I said, forget all that now. We've had a good start to pre-season, and I really, really like pre-season, because obviously, it gives upcoming players, more experience and that under their belt. So I think it's meaningless pre-season, but it's good enough for upcoming players, if you basically get what I mean. Hopefully it's going to work out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Like I've given you an update about David De Gea, very, very good news about him. He's on the verge of signing a new 6-year contract with Manchester United, which is very, very good. I've already given you the news about that. Solskjaer initially indicated out that he was closer to signing a new contract, so we do know now David De Gea is going to be staying, and we do know how imperative, of course, David De Gea is. Very, very delighted about that, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But I'm getting the idea of what I know actually, should I say, of what squad Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to rebuild, and hopefully he can rebuild the squad, and do what the squad did, under Alex Ferguson, for 20 odd years and all that. And so anyway, guys, the main part of this video, was to give you the latest news about Bruno Fernandes and all that. Reporting now, the boss of Sporting Lisbon, he's basically indicated out that Bruno Fernandes move, it's probable, that Bruno Fernandes will of course leave Sporting Lisbon. He's indicated out that his transfer to Manchester United is close, because obviously Bruno Fernandes, Sporting Lisbon are now looking for a replacement for Bruno Fernandes and all that. But yeah, I do believe probably Bruno Fernandes is going to be our 4th signing, because Harry Maguire will be the the 3rd one, and then I do believe Bruno Fernandes, of course, is currently going to be the 4th and all that. Which is very, very good, and hopefully we can get Nicolas Pepe in, because obviously we do need a right winger. I said initially we've got to address that right hand side. We've got Bissaka in now, which is really, really good, guys, but we've obviously got to currently get a right winger in. We're okay on the left hand side, because you've got the likes of Luke Shaw, that left back position, very, very reliable is Luke Shaw. He's done really, really well, obviously won the Player of the Year last season. You've got Daniel James, who primarily plays on the left, but you can also put him on the right, but I think we are okay on that left hand side. With Sanchez, we do know he hasn't played in pre-season yet, because obviously I think Sanchez is still injured, if I'm right. Obviously we do know he's going to continue playing his trade with Manchester United this season. For the majority of the summer we've been trying to get rid of Sanchez, but obviously the club have found it very, very, very difficult, based on his substantial wages. The club have found it difficult to currently offload him, but there is still room for improvements in his game, Sanchez, and maybe give him another season, to see how he participates and all that, and see what he does. I know he hasn't done well yet, but there's always see how he performs, going into this season, because he will get given his chance, with Sanchez. But like I said, there's been a lot of midfielders on our agenda. There was a lot of talks about Milinkovic-Savic last week. It's been going on for the last couple of weeks about Milinkovic-Savic. Obviously, you heard news about Mario Lemina the other week. But there's been a lot of midfielders on our agenda. I think Sean Longstaff to Manchester United now is not going to happen, because I think we've withdrawn our interest based on the substantial amount Newcastle are demanding. And £50 million in this market this day and age is reasonable, but I just think it's too much for a player of Sean Longstaff's calibre and level, because Sean Longstaff's only got a bit of experience. He only broke into Newcastle's senior squad, don't forget, in December last year. So I don't think he's now currently going to be coming in. And yeah, so I do believe the next two signings are going to be Bruno Fernandes and are going to be Harry Maguire, and Bruno Fernandes. And that's very, very good. So anyway, guys, shut your comments, like, on the channel. If you do consider subscribing, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.